Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world. Why that timer came on, I don't know. Anyway, here's what we're doing today. This is out at my place. This is the site where I did my own test on some bones from a llama that had drowned in the lake here. This is also the place that I have invited Stephen Avery to when he gets out to live rent-free if he'd like to. The lakes are fully stocked with fish. You can see that duck is out there fishing himself, looking for fish. So Stephen, when you get out and you see this, you contact me and you come on out here to the Midwest out of the state of Wisconsin, and you got a place where you can stay rent-free. We have gardens, chickens that lay eggs, and all the fish you could ever catch. You can live off the land and you don't have to talk to anyone. Okay, so what I did here is I had a large bonfire roughly about 2 months ago. I also used some accelerants, but I'm not going to mention what accelerants I used. But I did use some accelerants of various sources. I tried to make this pretty close to the same as what I read about in the Stephen Avery case, the bonfire that they had. Now, the reason I did it down here is because the llama was down in the lake, and I had to pull it out with a tractor. And I did it right in this area up here. Now, what I'm going to show you here are the bones that was left over. I also have some bones that I'm going to show later in the video that I brought up from this location. And down here, I'm going to show you where the bones have gone to. By the way, that lake is 47 feet deep. There are some large fish in there. All right, down here you're going to see some bones that have been moved around by probably raccoons, more than likely. Now, this is not a bone. This is a mussel shell, which is a sign that there's raccoons in this area. What they do is they get them out of the water, bring them up onto the shore, and that's where they eat them. Now, right here, there's a piece of, I believe, rib bone and another bone. Now, that's close to the water. So I know the bones have been moved around. There's some other bones there in that spot. There is a vertebrae bone, and it's not brittle. And like I said, this was in a fire that lasted about 6 hours, and I could not stand too close to it. I was probably 15 to 20 feet away. And as you see right there, that dog, Sally, just picked up that bone. So dogs are going to pick up these bones that were left behind and drag them off. But I did recover some of the bones from the fire that I had. As you can see, I picked up that bone, and it's that's a stick. It doesn't crumble in your hands, but it was a hot fire. Now up here in this area, I believe something drug off the head and whatever else was maybe around the neck. I'm not sure, because there's the head of Joey, and there's some other, looks like vertebrae bones and some little bitty bones. So I think the head was dragged up here to the top, and I don't know if it's coyotes or our dogs. We have 6 dogs out on the property, so it could have been our dogs that chewed on the bones up here in this location. But as you can see, there's a lot of little bitty bones, but they're not black. They don't look like they've been just incinerated, and it was a hot fire. So That's what the bones look like after I recovered them. And if you look on my pictures on Facebook, before I moved the bones, you could see that the vertebrae was lined up. You could see that it was a spine because it looked like like you go in the doctor's office and you see a skeleton or a picture of it and you see all the vertebrae together. That's what it looked like. Now that's what we should have seen is when they took pictures. There's some teeth, I believe, right there that I recovered. There's 4 of them, and there's more of them down there. But there was 4 teeth right there that I recovered. So for them to only recover 1 tooth is kind of suspicious because there's quite a few of them. There's more of them right there. But, very suspicious that they only recovered 1 tooth. So anyway, those 2 trees down here is kind of where I had to stand once that fire really got going because it was so hot. However, I'm going to show you the bones in a second because yesterday I picked up the vertebrae and took them someplace else because I'm going to do another fire. So this will be 2 fires that these bones have gone through, and then I'll show you the results. So let me pull up this other video with the rest of the bones. Okay, these are the bones that I went and picked up yesterday from that location. And there is a picture on some of the Facebook support groups that show what these bones look like. And you know what? I'll put them on here. At the end of the video, I'll show you what the bones looked like before I moved them. And this is what they should have looked like when they were recovered. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these bones through another bonfire, but this time I'm going to film it so you can see how big it is. And I'm going to do 3 different things. I'm going to put some of them in aluminum foil so it's easy to find. Some of them I'm going to put in this steel, that steel thing they can put wood chips in to smoke. And then the rest of them I'm not going to put in anything. I'm just going to let them burn by themselves. And those are the ones that I worry will be hard to find because the brush pile that I'm going to burn them in, which I'm going up to now that you're going to see in this video, is pretty large. So there's going to be a lot of ashes that I'm going to have to dig through. But I'm going to do this for a second time, but this time I'm going to film it because those bones that you just saw on that table, those have already been through a bonfire that was about 6 hours long. And I couldn't stand within 15 to 20 feet. Now there's some railroad ties there that have been soaked in some type of oil at one time or not. And there may or may not be some of those in the bottom of this brush pile. This brush pile is probably about 6 to 8 feet tall. It's full of leaves. There's leaves on the bottom that have been there for a few months since the winter time. Bags of grass clippings, and then tons of tree debris. And I would assume this pile is about 60 feet long. So what I'm going to do is get my tractor and I'm going to push it all into one big pile and make it pretty large. So I will film that in the next video. I can't do this at this time right now because we have a fire ban going on. It's too dry to burn right now, even with a controlled fire, which I think I could handle it. However, I'm not going to take any chances and I don't want to ticket. So this will be my experiment that I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and post this part on YouTube, and then my next video will be the actual fire with the bones in it. And then I will do a third video digging the bones out so we can see what they look like. So I'll post this video so you all can be prepared. Please share this video and please subscribe to my channel so that we can show people what bones are supposed to look like after they've been through a bonfire. So thanks for watching. Stephen and Brendan, we're coming for you guys. Hang in there. Okay, this is how I found the bones after my bonfire. So this is what we should have gotten to see at the crime scene. They shouldn't have dug the bones up without taking pictures, but what we ended up seeing was a box of bones. Why did we see a box of bones? Because they brought them to the crime scene in a box. That's why we saw a box of bones. This is what it looked like actually 2 months after I did my bonfire. I just removed these yesterday. So you can see the spinal column is kind of intact, except when I started moving it, they fell apart because there's no tendons, ligaments, disc, or anything like that to hold them together any longer. So anyway, that's what we did not get to see. And by not having pictures like this tells me, in my humble opinion, is that those bones were planted at Stephen Avery's location. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe.